everyone. Today I'm going to make some brownies. And I'm going to use our Hershey cocoa to make them. I'm going to make fudgy brownies. There's all kinds of brownies. You have cakey ones that are more like a cake consistency and texture, but I like the fudgy ones the best. So that's what I'm going to do today. So what you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 325 Fahrenheit, and then you're going to want to grease and flour a 8 by 8 inch baking pan, or you could put like parchment paper or foil, but that's what we're going to do to start with. So this recipe is wonderful. You can make lots of different kind of brownies, and I do, but this is the one I'm kind of in the mood for, so I think you're really going to enjoy this. Thank you for watching. These are all the ingredients that are going to go into the brownies. I will have all the amounts under the video in the description, but we're going to have vanilla, pecans, butter, sugar, cocoa powder, flour, and 2 eggs. And so what we're going to do is start melting some of this on the stove, and that gives like the top of these brownies like a gloss. So let's get started. You want to get a double boiler, and if you don't have a double boiler, just get a pot and put about 2 inches of water in the pot. You don't want the water touching the pot that you're going to melt everything in, so just about 2 inches of water, and we're going to put it on the stove and get it boiling. While your water is heating up, you're actually not going to want the water boiling. You're going to want it a very low simmer boil, like when it just starts. And then you're going to put your sugar. There's salt in here too with the sugar, your cocoa powder, and your butter. And once you have your water kind of at a low simmer, you're going to put this mixture on the stove and stir it around till the butter is melted and everything's kind of heated up. This is how you want the water. It's a very soft boil, like a simmer boil. So at this point, we're going to add our pot of butter and cocoa and sugar. We're going to let it melt here and then stir it occasionally. So while you're melting your butter and sugar and cocoa on the stove, you can start grinding your either pecans or walnuts. And I'm doing pecans. You're going to want 2/3 a cup. So I'm going to put them in here, and then I'm going to measure them afterwards. Just a little tip, put the butter in first so it starts melting. This is the first time I've done it backwards. It takes a longer time to melt if you put the sugar and cocoa first. So just a little tip, don't do what I did. We just took this off the stove, and as you can see, it's creamy and everything has melted and dissolved. The sugar, the cocoa, and it is grainy. That's how it's supposed to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes to cool down. We want to get it where it's warm and not hot. So I'm going to put this in a bowl because it's kind of a really narrow pot. So I'm going to get it in the bowl now and let it cool while it's in the bowl. If this was a larger bowl, like real round and wider, I would leave it in the pot, but it isn't. So I'm just going to put everything in a bowl. And after 5 minutes, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients in. So we'll see in about 5 minutes. The next step is we're going to add our vanilla. This is after waiting about 5 minutes. And this is a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm putting 2 in. And we're going to stir this around. And then we're going to add our eggs, and we're going to beat them vigorously in here, but we're going to add them one at a time. So I have cracked them already. So vigorously stir these. Beat them into the batter one at a time. Okay, and after they're combined, then we're going to add our flour, but once this is nice and combined and real thick. So now it is nice and thick, and you're going to add your flour, and then you're going to use a wooden spoon or a spatula, whichever you want, and you're going to beat about 40 or 50 strokes. I actually should use a mixer because I did hurt my right shoulder, and I am going to go get an x-ray tomorrow, but I think I slept on it wrong, to be honest. But I'm going to do this anyway. I'm trying to still do it and move it. It's good to always move. Yeah, when you get older and you sleep on your arms, sometimes you have problems. The kind of job I had, I was always using my arms. So anyway, this is probably almost 40 or 50 strokes. Very last step before we put it in our pan is to put your nuts in, and it's 2/3 a cup, whether you're using pecans or walnuts. And I actually have a little more than 2/3. It's probably closer to 1 cup, but it's okay. If you like nuts, it's fine. It's just a little more. So I'm going to stir this and just fold everything together, and then we're going to put it in our 8 by 8 inch pan. And of course, your oven is preheating at 325 right now. So I'm just going to finish putting this in the pan, and I'll be right back. Here it is. Doesn't that look good? Nice and chocolatey, and I like it because it's very fudgy. That's why I really like it the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in our 325 degree oven, and we're going to bake it for 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to have a toothpick come out clean, and that's how you'll know it's done. But also you want to slightly underbake it, just slightly, so that the middle looks slightly underbaked, but really isn't, but it looks like it. And then as long as your toothpick comes out clean, you'll know it's done. So we're going to put this in. We'll start with 20 minutes. Okay, this is done. It baked 25 minutes. So we're going to let it cool for probably about 30 minutes. They are. I waited about 28 minutes, and they're still warm, but they're really, really chewy and soft. And I haven't tasted them yet, but I can tell just by looking. And this is why I really like them, because they're chewy and soft and moist. So let's give one a try. Really chocolatey, like dark chocolatey, not milk chocolatey. Chewy, soft and moist, just like I said. I didn't frost these, and you can frost them if you want. I have a chocolate frosting recipe that I will put in the description for you if you want to, but honestly, these don't need any frosting. And I usually always like to frost my brownies. These are perfect. And with the nuts, I chopped them real fine. I didn't chop them, but I ground them fine, and you can chop them. I just bought this during the holidays last year, the grinder, the nut grinder. It's really good. If you want something chocolatey, and you want it fast, this is the perfect thing to make, because it doesn't take long. And all you do is let them cool about a half hour. Try them. So, a glass of milk is perfect. So I hope you give this recipe a try, and thank you so much for watching.